Good morning, GT Live. Welcome to our GT Live experience. So glad you're joining us for church this morning. I'm your host, Andrew Arrow. I'm hanging out here with
Chaplain Malizzi from Thunder Outreach.
Great to have you, Mark. So excited that you're here. I'm excited for an awesome day in church today. It's going to be really cool. Got a bunch of awesome stuff happening. Before we get into all that, as always, make sure you share this experience. You don't want to do church alone, right? Be a little awkward just walking in a church building. You know, you're the only person there. But we don't need a church building to be the church. So wherever you're at, be a part of our mission statement, which is reaching people and growing together in Christ. Go ahead, click share on Facebook or tag some people in the comments. Or if you're on gtlive.tv, copy and paste that link, send it out to all your friends, or if you just scroll down a little bit right below this player, it's just right there. Go ahead and click one of those social share buttons, Facebook, Twitter, email, Google+. If I don't think that's around anymore, but we have the option for it, so you're welcome. Just want to reach everybody with this message, but it's going to be an awesome day in church. And if you're from our West Lawn or Kutztown location, maybe you couldn't make it to a physical location this morning, or you're just getting a little bit of a preview before you get to church. So glad you are joining us today. If you are sick, we'll be praying for you. Let us know in the chat. We'd love to pray for you. Or if you're on vacation or something, so glad you're joining us. And finally, if you're part of our online church family, hundreds of people tuning in every single Sunday and engaging throughout the week as the church, we are so glad that you are here today joining us for another awesome Sunday. So, yeah, today's going to be a great day in church. Hanging out here with Mark Malizzi. Mark, tell us a little about yourself. Introduce yourself to our online family here. What is it that you do? Who are you? All that stuff.
I'm Chaplain Mark Malizzi from Thunder Outreach, and I am one of the regional first responder chaplains. Now, when we say first responder, what that really is people that interact with police, firefighters, EMTs, believe it or not, nurses, trauma people, anybody that would happen to respond to an incident or something that's a suddenly. And we know how suddenlies can affect things, but these are the people that are right there to help us in that moment.
Yeah, and man, we were here last year, and it was awesome hanging out. We were talking about how everything can just change in a moment, and the way people react can really affect that. Thunder Outreach is a little bit interesting of a name. How did that name come about? Why is it called Thunder Outreach?
Believe it or not, Thunder Outreach started as a simple 11-person Bible study group that we were getting together for our church cell group, and then after that, we said there's got to be more to being a Christian than just going to church on Sunday morning. There's got to be more. So we asked our pastor at that point, could we do a community outreach? And it just so happened the event that we did, the first one, was actually called Thunder in the Valley.
Okay.
And we're in Guinness World Records and Ripley's Believe It or Not for it. God blessed it. He took it. He anointed it. And we had tons of firefighters and police officers that were part of this event. And we raised over 156,000 pounds of food in 24 hours.
Wow.
So that was where it kind of started. But since then, it has just continued to blossom in that category. And first responders just really is a big part of what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that's so cool. I didn't really know that, but it's a cool story to hear.
Told you it's about suddenlies.
Just bam, right like that. So, and you told us a little bit about first responders covers. It's not just, because we all maybe have an idea of what first responders are, but it kind of encompasses a lot of people responding right in the moment.
Yep.
What are some ways first responders benefit their communities?
First off, let's take firefighters for a second. 99% of all firefighters in our region are actually volunteers.
Wow.
So if you think about the tax people that would have to pay your taxes in your house,
Yeah.
if you had to pay for 99% of those people to be employed,
Yeah.
that'd be a huge burden on the community.
A little bit of a change, yeah.
Volunteers for fire departments make a big difference. Now also understand, a volunteer for a fire department doesn't just have to be the person who's running into a burning building.
Yeah.
A lot of our local departments, and these are ways that people can help too, need people that are on the board of directors, that help fundraisers, that help keep equipment maintenance. So there's a lot of ways to support first responders without necessarily having to run into a building. Now, police officers and EMTs, of course, most of those are all paid positions, and we need them in our community. They provide safety and guidance. They protect and serve. So that's kind of, what makes us be able to sleep better at night. So I wouldn't really want to be part of our community without our first responders being there.
Yeah. So awesome. So many different people contributing in so many different ways to benefit the community. And you're saying all these things, and I'm, part of it that I'm thinking about is like, man, that's probably challenging for a lot of people. What are some of the challenges that first responders face week in and week out?
Well, let's take our world nowadays. Back 15, 20 years ago, when you were a firefighter and you went through like firefighter 1 training, and you dealt with things that were on fire that were woods and different plastics and things like that, you kind of had a better idea. But man, today's chemicals that are in our plastics and formaldehydes and all kinds of things like that, there's so much training.
Yeah.
Literally, to just get through Firefighter 1 training as a volunteer, not a paid position, takes almost 1 year of dedicated time just to get through that training.
Wow.
So it's a real commitment to the community.
Yeah, for sure. Man, just because you're saying, like, man, even before you get to the to the serving part, there's already challenges because it takes commitment, takes time. So, man, it's so cool that so many people are willing to do that, and we'll always be praying for more and more to do that.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So many people aren't willing to commit to that, and I don't mean that as a negative.
No, yeah.
You really have to have the heart of Christ, and this is one of these things we've just said is, ordinary people run away from a burning building. Extraordinary people will run into it.
Yeah.
But when you see the hearts of these first responders and they carry out a person who's been hurt, or when they're working on a vehicle that's been in an accident and they're working so hard, they're laying under the vehicle, they're doing everything they can. It's way more than just a human. There's a God moment that's happening in their lives. And that's why we need to pray for them and support these people.
Yeah. Man, it's so cool. As you say, it just makes me think like how when you're enacting the values of God, you're kind of leaning into that story of what God's doing in the world, and you're partnering with them. So that's so cool that we get to see that happen, that we get to help support that, and we want to support that, right? So what are some ways maybe people at home can support first responders in their community?
Oh wow, this is some great stories. Simple things. I was at a Wawa not long ago, and there was a police officer who walked into the Wawa, and there was a mother and a child there, and the police officer was just going in to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And the child pulled on mom's jacket and said, "Mommy, can we get him a cup of coffee? He works hard." Teaching our kids to respect our authorities and first responders is such a huge thing. Other things that we can do, actually GT and we've partnered together for 5+ years now.
And I was going to say, today we're going to be honoring some first responders, and you guys will see that in the service. We're going to be talking about how you can honor lifelines in your life. But what's a way that we're partnering today to help some first responders and honor them?
With our partnership, we never like to do things small. So with GT's support and other sponsors, we're able to purchase 5,000 tickets to a Reading Phillies game that we then turn around and we go out to all our first responders, police, fire, EMT type teams. We hand them these tickets for free for them and their families to be able to go to a baseball game for the day. We'll actually have our Christian band there, which is called Heaven's Thunder.
Nice.
Kind of like Leonard Skinner show up to church on Sunday. He's kind of got that feel to it. But really what it is, it's a day to take and thank our first responders in a tangible way. We can say thank you, but when you put something in their hand, and by the way, every one of the tickets actually has a blessing on the ticket.
Wow.
So we've even taken and made that piece of paper a tangible blessing too. But we couldn't do this without the support of the GT family here and everything, Pastor Brian and all the stuff that he's been through and we've been through. That's just what we love about GT Church. Their heart is real. They put it on the line and they do it.
For sure. And I love our community. I love your heart for serving. You are a part of that if you're a part of our community, so we're thankful that you've partnered with us in that. Mark, thanks for hanging out with us today. We're about to head into service. We're going to be talking about honoring lifelines. It's going to be an awesome day in service. Wherever you're at, don't discount what God can do in your life. So I hope you enjoy the service, be open to what God's doing, and I'll see you later.